Bruh, y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to have from your drama, or maybe have from your baby mama. Just kidding. But anyways, fans, thank you for staying tuned. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching ching. And today we have a very special guest. He's one of my chevruseh, my Torah study partner. He's a filmmaker, director. He also done film for UNLV. Give it up for my brother, Liddor. What's up, brother?
How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Thank you so much for having me on here, man. It's such a pleasure to be here, for real. Thank you.
Oh man, it's an honor, brother. It's an honor. You're a busy man, man. Always traveling, and you just came back from Poland. Josh, and who's one of the coordinators for the Moisha House, and Rabbi Meth started to kind of do like a collab where he invited people that he knew, and Rabbi Meth was going to teach Gemara, which was beautiful. And I went to one of the first courses, right? And that's when I met Liddor, like I would say maybe about a month ago or 2 months ago. And it was a beautiful thing because when I saw Liddor come in, really tall, he's a strong guy, man, watch out, man. It was so cool because, he's very smart. I love his questions and a great experience. I'm not gonna lie. For those, if you didn't see, I did an episode with Rabbi Meth. Check it out. But
Yeah.
it was deep. I think he's a great teacher. And what about you, Liddor? What was your impression coming to his class?
Well, I've sort of already met Rabbi Meth in the past. Wasn't too sure if he remembered me or not, because I did look a little bit different at the time. Made some improvement physically, So coming in there, everyone was kind of just like looking at me. They're like, "Do I recognize this guy? Do I not recognize this guy?" When I got invited to join his class, it was an honor to be there because I know Josh really well and Noah Weller. You had him on his on the podcast as well. And when I got invited, I was like, you know what, this is the step in the right direction because I have been getting myself a little bit more involved on campus as well as off campus regarding the whole Jewish environment and everything in between that. So it's been a pleasure just to learn and being able to be involved.
And what about when you first met me? What was your thoughts?
When I first met you, man, I knew something was special about you, and we didn't even exchange words just yet. I knew that it was, the energy when I first approached you, man. You opened yourself with a nice smile, man. I knew that the vibes were there. I knew that you were there just to learn as much as I was, and that we're here to basically better ourselves and to change our lives and make ourselves better human beings, not just for ourselves, but for the people around us. And I think that, going to Rabbi Meth's class was a very good step for that. Not only do we get to have some delicious cholent, which I don't know if your viewers know what that is, but it's definitely a heartwarming, wholesome food that I enjoy, not just on Thursdays, but on Saturday as well. But we sit down, we eat, we learn, and we discuss on the laws of Judaism. And there's only so much more to learn. And getting to know you, man, has been a blessing because, I feel like that I can hang around with the Moishi boys, with someone, that's close to me now and someone that I can always just like talk to, and someone that I like, if I feel like I need to say something, you're the first person that I can approach regarding that. So it's just like, you're the man for that. And I appreciate you a lot, brother. Thank you.
Oh man, it's an honor. You know what? I gotta say the moment I knew we got closer was there was a time we went to Moisha House and they were putting Breaking Bad, the TV show, and it was just you and I in the kitchen, and we got really deep about life. Here you open up to me for the first time outside of talking about life. I'm like probably the oldest in the group, but I feel like in a way I'm like a big brother because I learned a lot through life experience. So I was willing to hear you out and like be like, okay, all right, brother, like be there for you. You know what I'm saying? So it was nice because when I was growing up, being young, someone I could come to, I had to figure it out on my own, and it sometimes could lead you to a dark path because you just don't know which way to go, which route. Brother, this is
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You already know it's a tough world out there.
It is.
But
It's not a friendly world, man.
right,
It could
right.
be, but it should be. But you got to use it to your advantage. And and being able to, like I said, sit down with you, learn, and for you to be sort of like my big brother bro over there. I mean, it definitely helps a lot, and it only makes the connection and the environment stronger. And so yeah, man, so that's for sure, I agree.
Much love, man. Much love. So look, brother, I gotta tell you something. So we were having a discussion last week and about this episode, right? Young and Confused, one of the titles that you shared. And I feel like you shared a very inspirational story that a lot of people could relate, saying how and you can please, brother, you better at this because this is your story. But
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate you.
yeah, yeah.
uh so I mean, listen, I think that the topic of today is young and confused, right? What does that mean, right? When someone is young, they're basically, I mean, you're only learning and you're only accelerating, and it's kind of like a hit or miss point in your life. It's either I'm going to do something with the fact that I am young and I have this full of energy, or it's just you're going to use it to, to not your advantage and kind of let yourself kind of fall into the wrong places, do the wrong, have the wrong habits, and get yourself into situations that are tough to get out of. And so I wanted to basically today just elaborate. I think that what's also great about podcasts and having these discussions is that it's such a, in its own, it's a stress reliever because you could just let out what's in your mind or what you've been holding up inside. And that's why podcasts have been getting so big recently, is because people just want to say what they want to say. And I feel like that today is that day for not just you, but for me as well. And so young and confused. I think that the ages between 19 to 24 are very critical in every person's life. I think that it is a point in our time where I think that at the age of 19, you officially become a free thinker. I think that from high school, middle school to high school, everything is really just set up for you. You don't really have to worry about what's coming next because you know that you have to wake up a certain time, go to school, get your work done, see your friends, and just do the same thing over and over for what, 4+ years ish, I guess, if you're gonna count middle school together. So things are basically set up aligned for you. So you're not really thinking of, okay, I want to do something, but I'm not really focused on it because that's just not the time that I'm in. So when you approach the age of 19, okay, you're kind of already out of school. Things are starting to, come your way a little bit. And you're just like, okay, well, what am I really going to do with my life? And as for myself, as a 19-year-old, I was a little, I wouldn't say that I was too lost because I mean, I was in school. I was getting a degree in film making, a bachelor's in film. And so I sort of knew what I was good at, okay, per se. Well, I mean, I was never really in favor of going to college growing up because I never really thought that I was going to either be a doctor or a professor or any some sort of preacher or teacher of any some sort. So I never really, but I knew that college was important because everyone was going to college. Oh, I got accepted to this place. I got accepted to that place. It was sort of like, kind of like the thing that you had to just follow through with. So when I got into college, I was like, okay, well, I know that I'm good at something, but I'm not so sure of it. They're just offering this degree, so I'm going to take it. I did it. And then eventually I started getting involved with fraternities and different people and different smaller groups and different cliques and whatnot. And, in college, it's sort of like, okay, well, who are you going to hang around with that's really going to benefit you and kind of just like get you into the space that you're trying to get into? And I wasn't really focused about that at the age of 18 or 19. I made one short film when I was 18 years old, and that was just a one-time thing. But as I got a little bit older at the age of 20, I realized, okay, well, I'm not really doing much to sort of just accelerate with my degree. I'm not really meeting too many people. In fact, I was kind of like hesitant. I kind of just like shunned myself away from going to Shabbat dinners with Chabad on campus, which I mean, it's an excellent people, excellent program. I shunned myself away from going to other different rabbis, and I've shunned my way from just basically keeping the family close and keeping the tradition alive. And so I felt like I was in the wrong headspace, and I was partying a lot and just like the standard casual thing, nothing too crazy. But at that point in time, it's just like you start to forget. You're like, okay, well, I'm doing this, I'm having fun, but what am I going to achieve from doing this? And I saw no light at the end of the tunnel at the age of 19. I was like, okay, I'm stressed. I'm living on my own. I was paying my own rent. I was working a lot, but I was working a day job. I was like, like if I'm going to be 19 and stressed like this, I mean, I can only imagine how it's going to be 10, 20 years down the line. It's going to be the same thing. It's a very repetitive lifestyle. And I was sort of just angry and mad and just like blaming the world for the lack of capabilities that I was showing at the time. So, at the age of 20, COVID hit. I felt like that this was a good time for not just me, but for everybody around us. Just using the time to your advantage of like, okay, the world is kind of like on pause right now. Let's regroup, let's recoup, let's just re-strategize everything. And that's sort of what I was doing. I was in my film degree and I'm still in my film degree. We'll get to that in a minute. But I was like, okay, well, what I'm doing isn't necessarily right. Something was missing. Something wasn't exactly there, and I wasn't sure what it was. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll get into cybersecurity. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. Everything was just maybes, 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 but I wasn't so sure. I wasn't firm on what I wanted in life. I wasn't. And I think that this is, again, not just for me, but for everybody. We're in the stage of just like this gray area where it's just the hardest point of our lives. Where we're just so confused and so just not too sure of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And I think it's a very normal thing. I think that if this is what you're stressing in your life is what to do with your life, then I think that you're in a very good place, because there's so many other things and so many physical things that you can stress about that are a lot more worrying. So if you're stressing about what you want to do, I think that that's like a good place to start, obviously, because it means that you're healthy and capable of doing something. So for me, I know that if you compare myself now, I'm 22 now. It's been roughly 2 years or 2.5 since the whole lockdown. I was in a place where I knew that I had to make change. And the question was, how was I going to do this? And I think that the answer that I think that a lot of people can use for not just my situation, but for people at home watching, the fans viewing this right now, is very simple. For me, it was to follow your roots. Follow your roots. Now, that may sound a little cliche. Okay, like what does that mean? Follow your roots. Okay, I get it. Just do things that what you know, right? But I think it's a little bit more than that. I sat down one day. I was like, okay, I'm going to follow my roots. I'm not too sure where I heard this quote from. Maybe it was from my mother. Moms know best. But seriously, like I don't know where I heard this quote from, but someone told me, follow your roots. So I sat down, I took a piece of paper, blank piece of paper. I started drawing like a family tree, almost like a branch. Like I had a circle, and then I would make, like branches off of it, and then another circle, just like starting from something and expanding it. So following your roots, what did I come up with? And it literally came from like the simplest things to the most complex things. So I'll give you an example. For me, what's my root? For me, I know that I grew up somewhat Orthodox in style. So I was a little bit religious. I was very observant and going to classes and learning the Gemara and the Torah and everything in between. I was learning a lot as a kid. I was involved, and I felt like that was a lot of a good way to pass the time. I know that it was a good way to surround yourself with more positive things. So that's one of them. I knew that at the time I wasn't involved at all. In fact, I remember when I was that age and I couldn't even recall the last time I put a kippah on my head. That's just like that's how lost I was and how uninvolved I was. So that's one. And then they came to like things more simpler, like what do I really like following your roots. I'm a big fan of peanut butter. I eat a lot of peanut butter. I do. Like that's just what I eat. I know some people are allergic. I'm sorry, but I know that's a weird example, but it's just like the small things. What do you like in life? I like eating peanut butter. Okay, great. What's another thing? Following your roots. I watch soccer. I love watching soccer. And I haven't been doing that. I love playing soccer. I wasn't doing that. So what I did is now I play indoor soccer. Now I play and watch. Like I said, I play indoor soccer. I watch a lot of soccer now on TV. I watch the World Cup. I watch the Champions League. It's just the small things that make us feel more enlightened with our life. Okay, things that we've done in the past that we don't do anymore. Another example would be, okay, well, following my roots. I know that when I was 12 years old, I was a big creator on YouTube. I had 40 plus videos of just doing gaming videos, taught myself how to edit, how to sit on the computer and doing, yeah, I even taught myself on how to code a little bit. Okay. So I got a little bit into that. I was like, okay, well, that kind of made me realize like maybe I wanted to do cybersecurities because I kind of like, but no, it was more about, okay, well, I taught myself creativity, how to be consistent with it, sort of like what you're doing here with your podcast and your YouTube and your TikToks. And it's sort of like what I was doing at a young age. So following my roots, I was like, okay, well, I want to be a creator.
Well, real quick, brother, let me say something real quick. I do want to say when you said follow your roots, that's so powerful because, for me, right, I'm Hispanic and Jewish, but a lot of things that going back to like Shabbat. Shabbat is a beautiful thing to get together, to not be around any technology, and to spend the moment with your family and at shul and davening. I think is a beautiful thing. That for me, like for example, last week I had a little rough week, and when I went on Thursday to see you, brother, and we saw Rabbi Goldman to kind of like get back to reality. Like life is going on, but you can do this. So I think sometimes we need a little step back and realize, man, you know what? My day's gonna get
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
We just gotta
I
change our
always have that
mentality.
mentality, man, where what goes down has to come up. And what goes up sort of has to consolidate a little bit. Nothing is just going to shoot up. Life is like stocks, man, for real. Like it's like the markets. What goes down has to come up, and what's up has to consolidate a little bit. Maybe not drop drastically, because you gotta be a little bit smart with your money, with your life and your family, and how you treat everybody. But things are gonna have a little bit of a bumpy road. So definitely gonna have that mentality of things will get better, and that when things are better, got to keep them up. I think that going back to what I was saying is that uh, I was using basically that slogan, that quote, to follow your roots, to basically just guide me into what I wanted to do and to shift my focus. And so this again goes with physical activity. I was very involved with sports, hence the gym. I'd be in the gym almost every day, working out, lifting weights, doing cardio, just remaining healthy, being healthy, and doing the things that I remember. So that's that. And there's also the career standpoint. Okay, I'm going to follow my roots, but how does that relate to what I want to do in the future, right? And I think that that's the hardest part of figuring it out. And for me, it was okay. I did YouTube, I did this, I did that. I want to make movies, great. But where is the daily aspect? I want to wake up every day doing what I love. That's the hardest part. So for me, it was like, okay, well, I remember as a kid, I'd wake up, I would watch the news super early in the morning. I would see infomercials in the morning. And I'd wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, eat my cereal. I was a young kid at the time. I was like, okay, all right, well, television. I'm always watching television. I'm like, okay, well, this makes sense. And then I went back to school, got involved in my film degree. I met a lot of people along the way. I put myself out there. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna see what I can make with this. One thing led to another, where I saw that they were having uh, a school production of a feature film with a budget of between $30,000 to $50,000. I was like, I have to be on that. I'm gonna change my schedule just so I could do this, because I know that it could lead to bigger things in the future. Now I just finished my first ever feature film that's gonna be on my IMDb as a camera operator, which I'm very excited about. But I told myself that wasn't enough. Okay, I'm gonna make films. I'm barely making any money. What can I do? And what led to me was to eventually shift my focus to television. And so now I'm in school for broadcasting journalism. I've been really involved with UNLV TV. I've been involved with their on-campus services, basically just pushing me forward into meeting new people and basically just using the resources. So if you know what you're good at and following your roots, and you tell yourself, okay, well, I like to do this little part and I already go to school, what kind of resources can I use to in my advantage to help me push forward into my career? So because of UNLV TV, I've been working at the nights. Basically what you see on television as far as their games and the hockeys, I'm behind one of the cameras right now. So it's really fun for me. I know that in the summer I have an internship coming up, working with Jerusalem Media Group. And so it's like, okay, well, you know that you want to do something for me. It was television. What kind of resources can I use? My school. I'm going to go use the Jewish programs to find myself an internship in Israel. It's basically just like, okay, well, I understand what I'm good at, what I want to do. What can I use around me that can help me push forward to that? And I think that that's what's been helping me a lot, to remain focused and to be in focus is, again, physical activity, replenishing the mind. I think that it's very therapeutic to have yourself some alone time. Go be in the gym. It helps a ton. A lot of people are just like kind of just like sad, angry, or just like they hide themselves out from society. Be that person. Take over. You know what I'm saying? Just like put that effort in, show that you want to make it, and things will just come to you. Don't chase the money, let the money chase you. Know your worth, know your value, And I think that because of what I've been doing and how consistent I've been with it, that things will just fall into place naturally. And I'm confident about that. I think that people need to stop comparing themselves to other people in their situation, which is a very common thing. It's like, okay, my friend is doing this. He's making money from crypto. He's doing that. I should be making more money. Forget about the money. You know what you want to do or what you're good at. The money will come. That's it.
Oof, I love it. That was powerful, brother. Oof, I got the chills, man. The crawling, brother. Oh man, that's so cool. I gotta say, brother, one thing that we were learning together that was very deep was with Rabbi Goldman, I just thought about was gossip, right? Lashon Hara. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's a very powerful thing to watch out from. So one thing that I like, I remember we had a conversation outside with Adir, and you're like, look, someone may be talking about this person, right? Saying all these things, but we can't judge our brother. At the end of the day, our brother, he's a yid. We have to be there for him. Just to say hello
Right.
may be the thing that he needs. And we're just not in his shoes. And I love your mentality because instead of taking something that, to change it and make it like a gossip, you turn it around. And I like that. I don't know if it was an uppercut or a hook. You were like, we gotta look out. We gotta look out for each other. And that's powerful.
Yeah, I
And
remember. I remember we were there, we were standing outside. Not to get into too much detail, but people tend to be prejudiced about other people's situation. I can get into an argument with somebody, be conflicting. In fact, this happened to me at work. I had a boss who just so randomly, because I have two bosses, and one of the bosses was absent, and the other boss had to take over for a minute. So he wanted to make his own changes. He used that moment to his advantage, and just essentially like we just did not get along. I ended up leaving. Long story short, I'm back working at this place right now as a day job. I'm there again, like I work there again, and I look at him, and obviously I thought it was going to be really awkward, because we just didn't get along. I shake his hand. He shakes my hand. He tells me, I thank you for being here and for letting go what happened in the past. I told him, look, sir, I can't be prejudiced on what you were going through at the time. I can't assume on what stressors you were going through. I can't assume on how you were feeling. I know that in my religion, we forgive, we move on, and we embrace the fact that there's a better tomorrow. And he looked at me. He was like, thank you. He literally looked me in the eyes and said, thank you so much, because God knows what he was going through, but I know that he was giving me a little bit of a hard time. So I can't prejudge what a person was going through, even though he was a complete jerk to me.
yeah,
I can't assume that something in his life could be a total catastrophe that I'm not sure about, and he's just kind of taking it out on me. Yeah, it makes him a jerk for that, but it doesn't mean that he's a bad person. So I can't just go about my life thinking that, okay, I don't work at this place anymore because he's a bad person. No, it's because something is happening. So in a situation where we were standing outside together and we were talking about a situation, I was like, look, man, like obviously what happened was wrong, but we can't just prejudge that this person did something because he wanted to. Mistakes happen. People learn. People want to improve. So we can't just use a situation against a person forever. Everything is a learning experience in life. It doesn't take to mess up to know what you want, but it takes lessons to be able to be better. So you have to use that to your advantage. And I think that as Yehudim together, regardless if you're Jewish or not, that you should be able to embrace one another and know that everyone, I mean, if you really go about your life with the good intent, that you'll be better in what you do, you'll be a better person, and things will be more positive around you and surrounding you. So
Oof, I love it, fam. And there's another thing I want to add. So when we were having our discussion with Rabbi Goldman, I shared a formula that Rabbi Met shared to me. Guys, use it. It's the coolest thing ever. It's called the AEIOU formula. And I thought he was giving me a joke, Rabbi Met, but he broke it down. He said, before you think of saying anything to a person, think of the AEIOU. Before any gossip you're about to hear or whatever, A, analyze the situation. Do your homework. See if all the rumors are true. Second, E, make sure if that person doesn't exaggerate. See if it sounds kind of like, all over the place, or that that person always exaggerates for everything, right? So you got to investigate. AEI, intent. What is the intent the person's trying to do? Are they trying to divide your brothers? Are they trying to cause a conflict within you, or what's going on? And AEIOU is obviate, prevent the situation from getting bigger. How can you save yourself for rather than being part of the problem and making the gossip bigger? How can you basically bring peace, right? And then the last one I really like, AEIOU, undo the situation, try to fix it the best you can, right? And I love that because right away when we see something that we're not unsure about, a gossip, we right away believe what they say. We can sometimes be too biased. So before giving our input, we gotta take a step back and analyze it and watch out, because it's very easy into lashon hara.
right, right. We can't, like I said, prejudge people. We can't use that to be able to talk to another person and say, "Hey, did you hear this? Did you hear that?" It's not really worth it because it doesn't even solve anything. It's a waste of time. And I think that it is a form of hate, but that's again like if you hate something so like a person could hate another person so much that they go out of their way to either make that person's life miserable or to talk bad about them. In a sense, like this is sort of contradicting, but if you hate something so much, it's a form of love, if that makes sense. Like you can hate something so much that you have a form of care for it, okay? And if you have a care to to bag on somebody like that and to make the like you could be doing so many other things. You could be doing so much more with your time. And I guess some people just like have the habit of just loving to talk and to love to be able to elaborate about a situation that's not even relevant to them. All I can say is try your best. Like it's sort of just like the human stereotype is what I call it, which is a totally another discussion about how this world is the way that it is, how why our country is basically why we have to fight and why we have weapons defending each other from other humans instead of what's going on around Earth or beyond Earth. It's a whole nother discussion, but I think this falls within the human stereotype of just wanting to talk bad about another and it makes you feel stronger. And it's just, I think that that's a level of weakness instead. Be true to yourself, focus on yourself, take time to separate yourself from that lashon hara, from that bad energy, from that negative talk. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't improve you. It has no benefit to your career, to your future. 10, 20 years from now, what is talking about that going to do? Nothing. What is this podcast going to do for 10, 20 years down the line? It could totally help somebody. What we're doing right now makes a difference. It could make a difference. But if we were just sitting around on the street just talking about something that doesn't do anything, that just passes time. And time is the best currency that there is. Got to use it wisely, got to spend it wisely. You know what I'm saying? Like it just waste of time, waste of life, waste of breath. What for? So learn to take your mouth and use your ability to speak to benefit you or your family. Use it to your advantage. Don't use it to bring down another situation. That is a very big topic on Lashon Hara, and we have to evaluate and to know if it's really worth getting into, if it's worth my business. You just got to know right from wrong. And I think that these lessons that we're learning in class are very important, very beneficial to us. So I'm glad that we're doing that. Um, as far as the again, following your roots, I think that you gotta have to have the mentality of wanting to take over, wanting to be able to do something, wanting to not be that average person that works and struggles. And just obviously everyone in life has to work. Everyone in life has to put in that effort to work a day job. And I have no problem working a day job because I have the mentality of I don't have the mentality of ugh, I have to go to work. I tell myself I get to go to work. There's that mentality of like, okay, well, I'm on my feet, I'm breathing. God gave me another day. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to put myself to make myself feel productive. And when you follow your roots, you know that what you're doing with your day, with your boring day job, is only going to potentially you're going to use your funding to be able to do what you want later on. And hopefully, if you follow the guidelines of knowing what you've grown up with, what you liked since as a kid, then you know that you're on the right track with life. If you can make your 10-year-old self smile, then you know that what you're doing is right.
Ooh, ooh, that was a good. I love it, fam. Man, I was ready for that. Oh man, look, brother. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up because it looks like Zoom's about to kick us out. Guys, this is the outlet to reality,
Yes,
the
sir.
hottest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the
Let's
place
go.
where you wanna hide from your drama or your baby mama.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. But but don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Cha-ching. And guys, get ready for this. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, the outlet to reality. My Snapchat is Take One Pass It, and my TikTok is at 28 at Yaakov 28. And what about you, Liddor? Where can my fans find you?
Oh man, I'd be on Instagram, Liddor.Bega. That's Liddor.Bega. I'm on Instagram, also on LinkedIn. Follow me on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn a lot. It's the best.